Filipina fireball strikes again. Alex Eala's Revenge Tour rolls into Cincinnati. And her old tormentor is about to find out why you never, ever let this girl get hungry. She's back. She's hungry. And somewhere in Mason, Ohio, a Romanian veteran who once broke a teenager's heart on a U.S. Open qualifying court is about to discover that teenager grew fangs. Welcome back to Champions Tennisitics, tennis fam, because tonight, August 15th, 11 o'clock Philippine time, the Filipina sensation, the entire tennis world cannot stop talking about steps back onto a WTA 1000 hard court. And this is not just another match. This is a grudge match. This is unfinished business. This is the next chapter in what insiders are now openly calling Alex Eala's Revenge Tour. And folks, if you've been paying attention to what this 21-year-old has been doing to the players who once beat her, you already know this is must-watch television. Let's set the scene, because the drama here did not start today. It started 2 years ago in the sweltering heat of Flushing Meadows at the third qualifying round of the 2024 U.S. Open. A young, largely unknown Alex Eala, ranked outside the top 150 in the entire world, was one win away from something she had never done before, cracking the main draw of a Grand Slam. Standing in her way was Elena Gabriela Rus of Romania, a battle-tested veteran who had already tasted a career-high ranking inside the world's top 51. Eala took the first set. The dream was alive. And then it slipped away. Ruse clawed back, stealing the second and third sets, closing it out 3-6, 6-1, 6-4, and crushing the Filipinas' Grand Slam dreams before they'd even begun. Eala went home. Ruse moved on. And for 2 long years, that loss sat there unresolved, a loose thread in the tapestry of a career that was about to explode into something nobody saw coming. Fast forward to right now, August 2026, and the tennis world barely recognizes the player who walked off that court in defeat. Alex Eala is no longer the hopeful qualifier scrapping for a lucky break. She is the world number 20. She is a W Tour champion. She is the 17th seed at a WTA 1000 event, her highest seeding ever at this level. And she is, by the account of nearly every analyst, coach, and commentator watching the sport right now, one of the most dangerous players on the entire tour heading into the U.S. Open. This is not the same Alex Eala. And tonight, Elena Gabriela Rus is about to find that out the hard way. So how exactly did we get here? Buckle up, because the Alex Eala origin story reads less like a normal athletic career arc and more like a movie script written by someone who really, really wanted the underdog to win. This is a young woman who trained at Rafael Nadal's academy, who carried the hopes of an entire tennis-hungry nation on her shoulders, and who spent years grinding through the sport's lower tiers while the so-called experts weren't watching. And then, almost all at once, the dam broke. In the last several months alone, Eala has authored one of the most electric rises in recent Dute memory. She reached the 4th round at Wimbledon, the most hallowed grass in the sport, stunning bigger names and silencing doubters on the world's biggest stage. She won her first career WTA Tour singles title at the Mubadala Washington Open, a breakthrough moment that instantly changed how the entire sport talks about her. And then she rode that momentum straight into the Canadian Open in Toronto, where she strung together match after match, defeating quality opponents, riding a 7-match winning streak on the WTA Tour that had commentators scrambling for superlatives before finally running out of gas against Belinda Bencic in the round of 16, 6-4, 6-love. Even in defeat, the story was the same. Alex Eala is no longer a surprise. She is a threat. A genuine top 20 seeded, feared threat. And here's the part of the story that should send chills down Elena Gabriela Rus's spine tonight. Alex Eala has developed an absolutely terrifying habit. She hunts down the players who once beat her. She calls it, in her own quiet, understated way, unfinished business. The tennis media has taken to calling it something spicier, the Revenge Tour, and the receipts are frankly ridiculous. Renata Zarazua of Mexico, beaten after previously beating Eala. Maya Joint of Australia, same story. Poland's Iga Swiatek Yes, that Iga Swiatek, a former world number 1 and multiple Grand Slam champion, also fell to Eala after having beaten her in the past. China's Zheng Qinwen conquered. Canada's Leylah Fernandez conquered. American stars Jessica Pegula and Alicia Parks both conquered. That is seven former conquerors that Alex Eala has hunted down and defeated in recent times. 7 receipts. 7 statements. And tonight, in Cincinnati,
Alex Eala's Wimbledon ranking points and prize money revealed after loss to Jasmine Paolini. Alex Eala's run at the 2026 Wimbledon Championships came to an end with a hard-fought 3-set defeat to Jasmine Paolini. The world number 32 was beaten.
The 28 or 29-year-old Romanian, depending on which tour bio you check, has been a professional grinder for years, with a career-high ranking of world number 51 achieved back in May of 2022. She is currently sitting somewhere in the mid-70s in the world rankings, and she earned her spot opposite Eala tonight by absolutely demolishing Poland's Magda Linette in the first round, 6-love, 6-3, a statement win if there ever was one. Make no mistake, Ruse arrives in this match with confidence, with form, and with the psychological edge of having beaten Eala the one and only time these two have ever shared a court. On paper, on the head-to-head, on the history, Ruse has every reason to believe she can do it again. But here's the thing tabloid headlines love and analysts keep repeating. The players who beat Alex Eala in the past are playing a different, much more dangerous Alex Eala now. Back in 2024, Ruse beat a teenager ranked 153rd in the world. Tonight, she faces a 20-year-old, soon-to-be 21, ranked 20th on the planet, fresh off a Grand Slam quarterfinal caliber run at Wimbledon, fresh off her maiden WTA title, and fresh off a 7-match win streak that only ended against a legitimate top-tier opponent in Bencic. The gulf between the two Alex Ealas is almost comedic, and on hard courts specifically, the very surface they'll do battle on tonight in Mason, Ohio, Eala actually holds a slight career edge, 50 wins to 49 losses, while Ruse sits at a more middling 67 and 75. The numbers, the momentum, the trajectory, it is all pointing in one very clear direction. And Romania's Elena Gabriela Rus is standing directly in the path of a freight train. Now let's talk about how Eala even got here, because this Cincinnati run comes with its own layer of intrigue. With 3 top 20 players, Karolina Muchova of the Czech Republic, Canada's rising star Victoria Mboko, and Italy's Jasmine Paolini all forced to withdraw from the tournament due to injury. The draw reshuffled, and Eala found herself elevated to the 17th seed, the highest WTA 1000 seeding of her entire career. That seeding earned her a first-round bye, meaning tonight's clash with Ruse is actually her tournament opener, her very first match of the Cincinnati Open, and her tournament debut at this event altogether. She was forced to withdraw last year due to a shoulder injury. So this is uncharted territory, a brand new stage for a player rapidly running out of stages left to conquer. And here's where the tabloid plot thickens even further, because win or lose tonight, the draw gods have not been kind, or perhaps they've been extremely kind, depending on how confident you are in this young superstar. Should Eala get her revenge and dispatch Ruse, she is projected to run straight into 9th-seeded American Amanda Anisimova in the 3rd round, a 2-time Grand Slam finalist. One of the most fearsome ball strikers on the entire tour, and arguably the biggest litmus test remaining before the U.S. Open begins. Before that showdown even happens, Anisimova herself has a dangerous test on her side of the draw, facing either Eala's close friend and fellow rising star Zeynep Sönmez of Turkey, or Russia's crafty veteran Daria Kasatkina. It's a murderer's row of a draw, a gauntlet, the kind of bracket that either breaks a player or turns them into a legend. And the tennis world is watching Alex Eala's side of this bracket like a hawk, because more and more voices are starting to say the same thing out loud. This is the one to watch in Cincinnati. That's not just fan hype either. That's coming straight from the mouths of tennis royalty. Former world number 4 and 1997 U.S. Open finalist Greg Rusetsky went on record recently,
Sports have always been part of her
dedicating an entire
bloodline.
segment of his podcast
Alexandra
to
Alex
praising
Eala didn't grow up chasing
fearless,
tennis alone.
gas tank defying
She comes
run
from a
through the summer hard court swing. Rusetsky pointed to her 7-match winning streak through Washington and into the Canadian Open as proof that this is a player who has genuinely arrived, someone who only started to fade in that 8th consecutive match against a truly elite opponent in Bencic. His verdict was blunt and unmistakable. Alex Eala is the player to look out for in Cincinnati. When a former Grand Slam finalist starts publicly anointing a 21-year-old Filipina as the dark horse of a WTA 1000 event, you know something special is happening. And through all of this hype, all of this pressure, all of this talk of revenge tours and giant slaying streaks, Eala herself remains remarkably, almost eerily grounded. In her pre-tournament press conference, she was asked directly whether the momentum from her Washington title and her Toronto run would carry her through Cincinnati, and her answer was the kind of mature, measured response that makes you remember she's still only 21 years old, carrying the expectations of an entire tennis mad nation.
And such an
she
intense
spoke about
battle,
how
so I'm
momentum
really
can help
proud
build
of how
confidence, but
I fought
guarantees
and I held
nothing
my own out
concrete.
there.
And how her real measure of success this week isn't
Wimbledon
wins and
very
losses
close.
alone, but whether she executes the level she wants to bring to every single match, win or lose. It's the mentality of a champion in the making, process over outcome, substance over scoreline. For a young woman who has already slain 7 of her former conquerors and is about to hunt an 8th, that kind of quiet, business-like focus should be absolutely terrifying for everyone left in this draw. There's also something deeply poetic sitting underneath all of this drama, something that Filipino fans in particular have been buzzing about across social media. Before this tournament even wraps up, before Eala even boards a flight for New York and the US Open, whispers are already swirling about a celebration back home. Call it her own version of a hometown parade, her own barangay welcome, the kind of hero's reception reserved for athletes who have made an entire archipelago proud on the world stage. Every match right now feels like it's writing another chapter of a story that started in relative obscurity and is barreling towards something genuinely historic. A nation is watching, a region is watching, and tonight at 11 p.m. sharp Philippine time, millions of eyes are going to be locked onto a hard court in Mason, Ohio, praying, cheering, and absolutely losing their minds every single time Alex Eala hits a winner. Let's not undersell what a win tonight would actually mean. Either this isn't just about erasing an old loss from the record books for the sake of pride, though let's be honest, there's plenty of delicious, tabloid-ready poetic justice in a player closing the loop on the very defeat that once denied her a Grand Slam main draw debut. This is about validation. This is about proof. Every single time Alex Eala beats one of her former conquerors, she is sending a message to the entire WTA locker room. The player who beat me before does not exist anymore. You are not facing that version of me tonight. You are facing someone completely different, someone who has been rebuilt from the ground up into a top 20 terror, and if you don't respect that, you will pay for it on the scoreboard. Of course, tennis being tennis, nothing is ever guaranteed, and that's exactly what makes tonight's match must-watch drama rather than a foregone conclusion. Ruse is a savvy veteran who just demolished a quality opponent in straight sets. She knows this matchup. She's beaten Eala before, and she will walk onto that court in Mason, Ohio, with absolutely nothing to fear and everything to gain. A win over a rising top 20 seed would be the signature victory of her season, a chance to prove that her career high ranking of 51 wasn't a fluke, and a chance to spoil the fairy tale before it gets another chapter. This is precisely why tabloid headlines exist for nights like this. Because when a hungry veteran with a winning head-to-head record collides with a red-hot rising star on a revenge mission, you genuinely do not know what you're going to get until the final ball is struck. But if the trends of this entire season hold, and folks, they have held remarkably, almost suspiciously well, then the smart money, the deep analytics, and frankly, the vibes are all pointing toward one outcome. Alex Eala adding an 8th name to her growing list of conquered conquerors and marching onward into a blockbuster date with Amanda Anisimova that could genuinely define her entire US Open buildup. Win or lose tonight, one thing is undeniable. Alex Eala has transformed from a hopeful underdog into appointment viewing, into a genuine box office draw on the WTA Tour, into a player that broadcasters, analysts, and millions of Filipino fans around the globe now tune in for specifically because they don't want to miss whatever history she might make next. So here's where you come in, Champions Tennisitics family. Tonight, 11 p.m. Philippine time. Alex Eala steps onto that Cincinnati hard court carrying not just her racket, but 2 years of unfinished business, a 7-match hit list, and the hopes of an entire nation riding on every single point. Will Elena Gabriela Ruse defend her spot on the leaderboard, or will she become conquest number 8 on the most talked about revenge tour in women's tennis right now? We will be here with full coverage, full analysis, and full breakdown of every twist and turn as this story develops, because this is exactly the kind of electric edge of your seat sports drama this channel was built to bring you. If this story got your blood pumping the way it got ours pumping while putting it together, do not scroll past without hitting that like button. It genuinely helps push stories like Alex Eala's incredible rise to more tennis fans who need to see it. Drop a comment down below and tell us, do you think tonight is the night Ruse gets added to the revenge list, or does the veteran pull off the upset again? And if you have not already subscribed to Champions Tennisitics, now is the time, because we are going to be covering every single step of Alex Eala's US Open buildup, every twist, every triumph, and every dramatic moment along the way. Hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and let's ride this revenge tour together all the way to New York. Laban, Alex Eala, we'll see you in the next one.